from Georgia where fall is more of a state of mind. It is September, but it will be 2 months, maybe longer, before there's even the slightest chill in the air. We have our pumpkin cold foam cold brew. Literally, this is my favorite Starbucks drink. TBR, The Serpent and the Wolf. Okay, originally I bought this because I thought it was a werewolf romance. I did. Admittedly, I will admit my sins. I thought this was going to be a werewolf romance. It's not. But it is a master of spicy slow burn, says Kate Golden. Okay, Kate. It is a fake marriage that meets enemies to lovers. Basically, Vessa, her brother, has sold her off for marriage, and she is expected to be a sacrifice, die for the cause of his army, his stupid little boy cause. And she obviously doesn't want to die, so she enters into this marriage, and it kind of becomes like enemies, lovers to a marriage of convenience. They kind of make a deal with each other to help each other out. Like, she's giving intel on the brother, whatever, he's not killing her, sacrificing her. So it's kind of an unfair trade, but whatever. And then obviously there's some tension there that probably leads to undying love, and I can't wait to read it. Spells for Forgetting. This has been on my TBR for so long. Emery, her best friend, is murdered, and her boyfriend is accused of murdering her. What an interesting premise, especially because she's coming back to her hometown. She hasn't been there since the scene of the crime, since the murder. Her ex is there, and are they gonna get back together? Did he go to jail? Like, did he go to jail? Like, I don't know. Do they solve the murder? Do they heal those wounds? Like, I need to know. Spark of the Everflame. I have book 1 and book 2 here. I don't know if there are more books in this series. It might be a duology. Holy shit. Okay. So there are, so far, 4 books in the series. The 4th book comes out in 2026. Loving these covers. I love the progression of the headshot. Like, I like when books give you details like that. Like, the inside of the dome here could later mean something more than what meets the eye. I also really like the artwork that is in both of the books on the inside. I love that. Beautiful. The tagline for the book is, when old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. In a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descendant, their cruel, magic-wielding offspring, Diem, yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother disappears, and the discovery of dangerous secrets about her past surface, given an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of the Ascendant. With the king's dying son, he's obviously handsome, a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her into the growing civil war. Okay, so it seems like it's gonna have a lot of political intrigue in here. I have been reading primarily romantasy, so this sounds so good to me. I am ready to dive into a world. This sounds very fleshed out. This sounds so fleshed out. Like, I'm excited. And then the back, this little quote here, it says, "You think I fear my own death," he whispered in my ear. "Every day I draw breath is as much of a curse as a gift. If you're the way my fate finally catches up to me, I can't fathom a more beautiful end." Project Hail Mary. I want to read it in time for the movies. The thing about this that I think will be very interesting is he's alone. He's alone in space. He literally wakes up in space. The people that are in the cavern with him, they are dead. So he's going to have to navigate this journey completely alone. The only thing that I've ever seen with that kind of presence where you are like by yourself and you are just having to aid yourself and like push yourself and, you know, like stay strong for yourself. You have no one's rooting for you. You're alone. You have to, you know, use your brain, use your like wit. You have to get out of this yourself. The only thing I've ever seen like that is 127 Hours, the movie where he goes, it's kind of like rock climbing, I guess, but like he's like exploring caverns or whatever, and he actually gets stuck because of a rock fall. The way that movie makes you think, oh boy, I don't know if I could do that. I actually highly recommend that movie. It's crazy. It is based on a true story, so if you want to give that a go. I recommend it. But I'm interested in this book for the reason that he's by himself. How are we gonna get out of this? Like, I'm so intrigued by that premise alone. Up next we have Recursion. This has been on my TBR for quite some time, I'm ashamed to admit, but after the success that I had with On a Quiet Street, I have convinced myself that this will be a really good book because of that. Because of the shelf life, I'm just convincing myself that it gets better with age. People are being plagued with memories that are not their own. And at first, it's like presented as this kind of sickness and whatever. And it's like a journey to get to this neuroscientist who may have all the answers and to try to fix this and keep this disease from spreading. I'm really excited to give it a go. Now, for the really like fall leaning into winter vibes, we've got Picture Perfect Autumn and Beartown. I'm excited to read Picture Perfect Autumn. It is a novel. I'm kind of hoping this will give me this same cozy feeling that I got when I read A Man Called Ove. It is about a photographer who finds her way to a remote town in Rhode Island. She actually meets this reclusive, bitter 80-year-old man. He has like kind of an estranged relationship with his family because his job in photography led to his son's death, and Danny, the main character, she is going there to try to like get some, I don't know, like wisdom, talk to him about his photography, and he's just not having it. And then his grandson shows up, and it just kind of seems like it's gonna be like we're forming like a familial bond. We're getting close with the grandson. I think it'll be really like a good wholesome read, and I'm really excited. I also love this cover. Up next we have Beartown. Now, I have read one Fred McBachman book, and I am so nervous to read anymore. That one did make me cry, but this one is supposed to be a tearjerker. People put this one, if you search sad books to read, books to make you cry, Beartown is going to be in there time and time again. Like, I'm scared. Like, I'm terrified. Review at the top here, it says, packed with wise insights into the human experience. And that is just one way that I would describe Fredman Bachman's books in general. This book is about a junior hockey team. They're finally about to compete in the national semifinals, and it's about the team, it's about this girl who is suffering, and it's about like the way that this small town, how it rallies behind people and doesn't others. I think this says it best. Like, this little last section of the book, it says, the story is about a town and a game, but even more about loyalty, commitment, and the responsibilities of friendship. The people we disappoint even though we love them, and the decisions we make every day that come to define us. And I'm really excited to read something that's like thoughtful, like very thoughtfully written. The rest of the books that I am planning to read, I don't have a physical copy yet because they either haven't come out, I'm reading them on Kindle, coming from the library. That was my shoulder. The first thing on my list is The Things We Water by Mariana Zapata. I have been saving this since it came out. I have the window open. Like, I literally have it open so that you're setting like level with me and not giving me a double chin. In case you're wondering, I don't have a fan blowing on me, like, you know what I mean? Like runway. I have been saving this for fall. As far as I know, this is Mariana Zapata's first fantasy. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. It's looking true. It's looking like her first. The premise of this book sounds a little silly. Like, if I'm being honest, I just don't know how it's gonna go. Like, I'm low-key kind of nervous because I love Mariana Zapata, and I'm going to be very disappointed if I don't like this book. Like, I'm just being honest. The premise of it sounds a little silly. It says, once upon a time, a girl found a magical puppy and her life was never the same again. I don't know, that sounds really silly to me. The only place that can help is on a sprawling You're gonna have to excuse the accent. I'm really sorry. She needs help. So much of it. The only place she can find help is on a sprawling ranch in Colorado. A place having more than a community filled with magical creatures. And this magical ranch is owned by her best friend's cousin, and apparently he's hunky. And that's like literally the premise of the book. Hot guy, magical dog. I just don't know like if I'm gonna like it. Honestly, like it sounds whimsical, but like it does sound a little bit silly, and I wish that maybe the description was a little more formal or something, because once upon a time a girl found a magical puppy. That sounds silly. Like, I don't know, that sounds like fan fiction to me, but I guess we'll see. I do love Mariana Zapata, and I am very intrigued. I've had the best luck this year with authors writing their first fantasy and rating their books 5 stars. Example, Denby Perry, Shield of Sparrows, 5 stars. Rose and Change, Julie Soto, 5 stars. So I've had really good luck with that this year, so I'm really hoping that continues. Up next, we have The Favorites. I've been seeing reviews of this that are saying that the setup of this book is very similar to Daisy Jones and the Six, which I'm very interested in. I also rated that book 5 stars. It's more of like an interview style prose, and I'm very interested in that format. I do wonder though, books that are written that way, is it written to be a movie script? Because it's either really good or it's really bad, because it's just written out for you just like a movie script would be, and I do find that to be kind of lazy and almost disingenuous when authors write that way. Not saying that this book will be that way, just a little commentary for you. This book is about a girl who wants to be an Olympic skater. She does not have a good background. She meets her partner, who was also in the foster care system, had a rough childhood, and they become like the dynamic duo. And they were like, you know, they were lovers. And until they have like this big accident that broke them apart. Now there's a documentary being held, and that explains the formatting. And the main character, Katrina, she does not want any part in the documentary, but obviously, because it is a book, she will take part in it. And maybe they'll rekindle, maybe, I don't know if it's, I'm guessing it'll be like the telling of their backstory, maybe like some awkward in between filming days where they're like seeing each other for the first time. I really love that. I love the tension with stuff like that, where it's like we haven't seen each other in years and we're just like avoiding eye contact. We're both like trying not to look at each other, but it's like you're just drawn to that. I love tension. I love tension. So I'm really excited to give this a read. A few people that I know personally have read this book, and both of them rated it 5 stars. So, hey. Hey, nobody influences me more than my friends and family. Up next, we have Yellowface. I have been wanting to read this. I have been on hold for it at my library for months. Years, actually. Probably years. Probably a year. This is about a white author who steals a Chinese author's work after she dies. So these two women were set up to be twin rising stars, meaning that they both have like the same amount of promise. But the pros in the back is, who wants stories about basic white girls? Nobody. And so she witnesses her competitor. She witnesses her die, and she literally steals her novel that she was in the middle of writing and publishes it as her own. And so the story is just the moral grappling with that, as well as I have to keep this secret, nobody can ever find this out. I don't know if it's going to be like antagonistic, like she's like, I don't know if she's going to be publishing this work as her own and like talking down on it at the same time. I don't know how big she is in her head. Like, does she think that she's better than her but knows that her work would do better? Or does she know that she is better? Like, does she know that she is a better writer and she knows that she can never compare? Or is it just the story aspect? Because I think it would be really interesting. Like, you're already grappling with that morality thing, stealing someone's work, stealing a Chinese author's work and posting it as someone who's white, and acting like it's your own struggle. Like, that's already grappling with that. But does she also think she's better than her? Or does she know that she has exceeded her? Like, I'm very interested to know, and I want to know, does she get caught? Like, what's gonna go down? I've seen some really good reviews for this, so I'm very excited. Okay, this one's tough for me. I have been wanting to read a Christina Hanna book. The problem is, here's the problem. The book that I wanted to read first by her was Firefly Lane. That book is primarily about friendship, the highs and lows of high school football. No, it's about like the highs and lows of friendship, the way we change and go about life, and your friends are always there for you. That is what the book is primarily about. I just have not got my filthy grimy hands on it. The Great Alone. I was approved for that at my library, so I really need to start reading that before I lose that. Historically, like, history is not my subject. I understand that we need to know history, not to repeat the same mistakes. Like, I understand the importance of history, but like historically for me, it is very boring. In school, they could have made it so much more interesting, but I swear to God, they made it as boring as possible. It's tough to get through, like a drag. And her books are a lot about history. She does extensive research, which is one of the reasons why I want to read her books, because someone who takes the time to do that research and do that due diligence to make a setting, a dialect, just knowing about their job, like, you know, like they take the time to really educate themselves and make that book as good as it can be and explain that like to the best and most correct like way. I really admire that. But history is just one of those things where I don't want to feel like I'm reading a textbook. That is boring, if I'm being honest. But the praise that Christina Hanna has gotten, people in my life have read her who they mostly read like nonfiction. They read her, love her. Friends who mostly read romance, read her, love her. Friends who mostly read fantasy, read her, love her. And I find it very interesting when an author can be loved by everyone. Everyone has a book of hers that they are in love with. So the book that I'm thinking I'm going to start with is The Great Alone. This one is about a family in 1974 in Alaska. They are struggling. One of the family members has just got home from Vietnam. He keeps losing jobs. Then they have a 13-year-old daughter coming of age, tumultuous time. And then her parents have it says a passionate and stormy relationship. Her mother will do anything for the man she loves, even if that means following him into the unknown. At first, Alaska seems like the answer to their prayers. In the wild, remote corner of the state, they find a fiercely independent community of strong men and even stronger women. The sunlit days and the generosity of the locals make up for the Albrights' lack of preparation and dwindling resources. This is going to be like a story about love, loss, and it says the fight for survival. And I'm guessing that's like between the people as well as like just the harsh Alaskan environment. So I'm very interested in this. I do expect to cry. Up next, this is one of the books that I'm like actually genuinely the most excited for. It is Anathema. It is by Kira Lake, and she is who wrote Nocticadia. Nocticadia is a standalone fantasy, gothic fantasy book. It was so good to me. It is in my fall recommendations if you would like to hear more about that. Anathema is a part of the Eating Woods series. It is the first of, is it a duology? Oh, what is today? Today is September 7th, and the second book in this series comes out on the 9th. I might have to read this sooner, actually. Wow, okay, that's actually really exciting. That's so exciting for me. Because I've read so many romantic fantasy books this year, and they don't come out until the second doesn't come out until next year, and I'm actually dying. Like I'm having a struggle this year. I want to read, but because of these books, it's almost like a part of me is on hold. There's only so much like space for me to want to read lately, because I'm like, I want answers. I'm invested in these books so much that I'm like, am I really not going to read until next year? I do feel like if I just gave up, that would happen, but I would miss out on such good books that I can't allow myself. But if I was just one of those people who would just give up, I would be waiting until next year, 2026 October to get some of these books. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. Actually, I need to get on this pronto. Okay, this is going to be another gothic dark fantasy about a shunned woman who is forced beyond the mortal's realm, a forbidden boundary, into a terrifying world of cursed souls and grotesque creatures. Only the banished know what lies beyond the woods. Like, I'm so excited. Kira Lake, she creates such a vibe, such a visual, such a scene. She creates such a scene. It's so descriptive and beautiful without overdoing it to the point where it's like just all descriptions. Ooh, it's so good. It is so good. If you want to start with her books, I highly recommend Nocticadia. It is a standalone. There are not very many standalones fantasy books that do well, in my opinion, because for a fantasy world, you have to create, in many cases, like the setup, the foundation for like a magic system, how the world works. You have to explain the area, explain the rules of the land, you know? And she does such a good job. And maybe because a lot of that book is rooted in reality, it's like they are people. But like there's also like this aspect of what else is out there, you know? So I don't know, she does a really good job with stuff like that, and I cannot wait to read Anathema. I also love this cover. 2 more and then we'll be done. We have okay, The Wolf King. Okay, this one is purely just a guilty pleasure. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. This one's purely a guilty pleasure. However, if it's 5 stars, it's 5 stars. Sometimes a guilty pleasure is just a pleasure, you know? Maybe I shouldn't feel guilty, I don't know. But the premise is a princess is kidnapped by an alpha. There's a war between the humans and the wolves, but soon a forbidden attraction starts to grow. Princess Aurora, haven't heard that in a while. Princess Aurora longs to escape the castle and the marriage that has been arranged for her. But on the night before her wedding, at a dog fight where captured werewolves are made to fight for sport, she spares the life of a young wolf. It puts her on the radar of the alpha who was going to kill him, and it changes everything. And then basically he kidnaps her. And then the questions at the end is, will their story end in love or tragedy? And will Aurora ever get home? Does she even want to? Probably not. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that she probably doesn't want to go home. She's probably like eating it up. She's like, oh my god, I'm with the alpha. You know, really, I'm so sorry. Let's just move on. Let's not even talk about it. Let's just move on. Alchemy of Secrets. Alchemy of Secrets. I am really jealous of people who have been getting arcs for this book, because I'm pretty sure this is her first adult novel. I don't know what's going on recently, but a lot of well-known authors, they are publishing their first adult novels and or they're genre switching. I don't know what the year of this has been, but I'm really loving it, actually. I think it's awesome. Yeah, okay, so this is her first adult novel, and admittedly, I have not read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series or Caraval. I have not read either of those series, but this is her first adult series, and I'm very excited about it. I know that Stephanie Garber is she's a really beloved author. I'm excited about this one because it is about local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories to just be fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down the local legend named the Witch Man, who supposedly can tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense, except that the Witch Man tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. So it's basically like a race against time, and I think that'll be so cool. It's looking like it is a standalone. I just read one of the first reviews, and it said that the cover was a jump scare. I found that to be rude because I genuinely, I was eating the cover up. I think it's so cute. And I'm interested to see if she can actually pull off the adult genre. Like, if I read this book and I'm like, oh, it makes sense that most of her books are YA, it is giving that vibe. I probably won't read her other books, but if I read it and she pulls off the adult genre really well and is able to separate herself from that genre, I definitely will consider reading the other books, just because I think being able to do that and move fluidly through genres, it kind of establishes you, it shows that you can write really well in those genres. So maybe I'll give them a read. Maybe I'll give them a gander, take a gander, you know? This shit, crack. That was my fall TBR. We're missing someone. Did I tell you about Wild? Did I talk about Wild Card? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Wild Card real quick because I genuinely don't know. And for those of you who are like, why is this on here? I've never read a ex's dad. I've never read a romance like that, and that's very daunting. So I'm considering it. I'm like, it's fall. I don't care. It comes out. I'm pretty sure it comes out on the 9th as well. Either way, the book is on the way to my house. Currently, Sebastian, hot as hell fire pilot. He's the perfect combination, but unfortunately for me, he's also my ex-boyfriend's dad. A chance meeting brought us together and a misconnection kept us apart. I'm very interested to read this. I've never read Ex's Dad, Ex's Daddy. Is that a genre? Is that a trope? I've never read that. I don't read a lot of age gap romances, and the ones that I have read, I felt like the age gap was not that prevalent, except for Allie Hazelwood's new book. It was very prevalent there. It was the biggest issue. It was brought up every time the two main characters talked. But that was the only book that, to me, it was very obvious. And most of the books I can actually forget the age gap. Like, if it happens, I low-key forget. Like, I just don't know how this is gonna go. But like, the drama and the tea, I'm here for it. Like, the tension, like, Christmas though is kind of ruined, right? Especially if she had sex with her ex-boyfriend. Christmas is kind of ruined. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but I'm excited. The dynamics at Christmas, that the ex-boyfriend has to be like a bad guy, right? Like, there's no way he's like a good, wholesome man. Like, maybe his dad's disappointed in him already. So there's already that like tumultuous relationship there, but like, if they're on good terms, this is gonna be awkward as hell. Ew, I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, Christmas? It's gonna have a bad vibe. Like, I'm thinking about this application into the real world and I'm like, I just don't know. Okay, let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if you want to read these along. I think I'm gonna do some reading vlogs for a couple of these. I think I'm actually going to do one for Wildcard, considering that I've never really read that trope before. I think it would be really funny to read it together. I think it would be really fun. I also love Elsie Silver, and I am excited for this book because Wildside, her last book, was actually my least favorite of her books. I enjoyed it significantly less than normal, and I don't know if it's because of the wrestling aspect, like maybe that's what it was, but it didn't draw me in like the rest of her, like almost every single one of her books. Excluding that one and I think it's Beau. That was an age gap. That one was an age gap and I didn't want to read it. Oh my god, what if I hate this book because it's like it's a huge age gap? Let me make sure I'm telling the truth. What is that one called? Powerless? No, it's not that one. Hopeless! Ooh! But it is Beau. Okay, it is Beau. I was right about that. Okay, it's Beau. Oh yeah, I stopped reading this one. Okay, this is the only Elsie Silver book that I haven't read in the Chestnut Springs series. Beau Eaton, he, you know, tragic past, military boy. And they have like a really big age gap. I'm trying to find his age, but she's 22. He's 35. Okay, he's 35. She's 22 and a virgin. I think that was why I stopped reading. I don't know. I remember that now because I don't even think I got past like chapter 5 because I think he was like watching her creepily at the bar and just ew. Okay, here's the thing that bothers me with age gaps. It is when the older character knows a younger person in the relationship, has known them since they were a child, and talks about their new, it's always a man. It's always a man. And they talk about their new woman body in comparison to their prepubescent body. Something about that is so disgusting to me, and it feels like grooming, although like it's not. Like in these books they're not grooming them, but to me it is a step too close to it to be comfortable. If I'm being honest, like it is just a hair too close to grooming that I can't get past it. So I think that's why I stopped reading it, because it was talking about like knowing her as a child, and it was just a step too close. Talking about how she filled out good, and I was like, okay, well, you're 35. You're 35. You're almost 40. Stop looking at her. She was in high school 4 years ago. Like, Come on. All right, let's wrap it up. We'll talk soon. Let me know if you plan on reading these. Let me know if you want a reading vlog for any of these. I'm definitely doing one for Wildcard, but if you want one for any of the other ones, let me know. I will do that for you. Bye.